One of the most important aspects of IIIT Hyderabad is the research is its DNA. Every decision, every possible action that is taken, keeping in mind the research, right? The research culture, the way we prepare these students to do greater things as far as research, invention, innovation, and of course, productization is concerned. So that is very important aspects in IIIT's entire culture. From the very beginning, there are various decisions that we have taken in IIIT Hyderabad to nurture this research culture, be it conducting what I would like to call as Sankranti or Harvest Festival of Research that we do as part of our R&D showcase, where all the labs, all the research students, whether you are a junior, or third year BTech students to a PhD student or larger research teams, all of them come together to showcase what they have been doing for last 1 year or last few years, and then kind of tell the world that these are the exciting problems that we are working on. And then that kind of brought very interesting possibilities. People from the industry coming and appreciating the work that is being done here, and the kind of collaboration that have happened because of this showcase, and of course several projects being funded, and more importantly, many students from various colleges, institutions coming and getting inspired by the work that is being done here. So these are some of the important implications of holding events like this. In addition to that, in early years, we also used to do a program called Excitement of Research. This is to inculcate that excitement and aspiration of conducting research. Why research is on the pedestal. That message has to go. So you are not only prepared for a regular job, you are prepared to do things that will actually change the world, right? So that is the motivation. So if you are a student here, or if you are anybody who is touched by this ecosystem, your aspirations are altogether in a different level, right? So events like R&D showcase, excitement of research workshops, and then going and conducting workshops and events at various places and for various segments of people. For example, talking to journalists on what is the role of AI or artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. in the field of journalism. Okay, and kind of doing this with, say, pharmaceutical companies, real estate industry, whatever may be the domain, right? Touching each and every domain. Using these mechanisms actually gave us a lot of visibility and also motivated us continuously. The second important element here is, having audience to talk about your research itself is very inspirational for the people who are part of this research. Students having, endless possibilities of presenting their work to various audience without actually getting any external inputs also, it's possible that they would see their own work differently. So having this soft infrastructure and investing in research culture is one of the very important success factors for IIIT Hyderabad's research culture here. In the last 10 years or so, things have changed dramatically. There's so much of progress in the science, especially in areas like computing, communication, and all the areas that these core so-called IT touches. So every domain is being heavily influenced by the technology. In such a scenario, the way that we see research, conduct research, also has to change. And the way that we were happy with making incremental changes or finding problems that are very related to already solved problems but not yet solved. So doing the delta additions may or may not work because there are these inventions of large-scale models that are sort of trivializing many of these smaller problems people otherwise earlier were aspiring to solve. So there are two possibilities here. One is getting into more fundamentals, the science that is required to be developed, pushing the edge of the science. This is a very important element. All of us as researchers, being an honors research student or a PhD student or a senior professor, all of us need to look at this in a very different manner. So there are all these large models that are being built for the world, but then there are a lot of work that needs to be done in order to localize it, in order to make it applicable to our problems. So once you are kind of not sure how to do it and ignore those aspects, you might be missing out on very important possibilities of finding new research problems that may be globally relevant some other day. I'll give you an example. Building a machine translation system or building information retrieval system for languages like Telugu, Hindi, Tamil and so on. If you think that the Google translation or some other largely available, some other global systems will solve these problems and then ignore the nuances of Indian languages, you may be sort of missing the bus in the sense that there are problems that are hidden in these languages that are relevant to 10,000 other languages in the world. So, in a sense, India is a great playground for researchers, for the diversity that we have in terms of the population, languages, culture, and all other issues that come with these aspects. So, it's very important to stay on the ground and understand the local problems and make sure that we solve them and not depend on others to solve these. Right? So that is one way of making significant contributions to the science. And these contributions are applicable to most of the world. So problems of 1 billion people, once they are solved, they may be relevant to 7 billion people. So that is one mantra that we should keep in mind. One other way, the way that we conduct research is changing today, is collaborative aspects of research. So as a single person, as a small team in one institution, the kind of work that we can do is so limited. But then if you can learn to work in a distributed manner, having collaborations with people outside your organization and the teams that comprise of multidisciplinary, organizational teams, kind of looking at these grand challenges at that scale would certainly help in solving large problems. So one should be really looking at what role they play and then how they can collaborate with other teams and institutions. That's an important skill that new era researchers should learn. When it comes to computer science and communications, electronics, these kind of core technology areas, industry certainly has an advantage in conducting research because they have availability of a lot more data and of course deep pockets and more importantly access to learn about their experimentation much more quickly. That does not mean that the people in the educational institutions, research institutions are at any disadvantage. If you only can leverage the advantages of collaborations with the industry. as long as you understand the complementary nature of research, the way that you can conduct experiments much more distributed manner. In a sense, you are able to duplicate your experiments in academic environment in a less expensive manner than in the industry, right? So if you are able to kind of see the advantages inherently that we have in the academic environment, and then the free-flowing ideas, ability to take risks on more fundamental problems, right? So these are the things that where you should be able to be very attractive partner to the industry. If you are not just as an extended arm of industry research, every education institution being an extended arm of industry research is one way of looking at it. That's how industry approaches us. But then our role should be not just an extended arm, but also an advisory kind of a body that would influence the future of the industrial research and so on. So if you are able to provide these two, leadership as well as the complementary nature of research, then the industry and academia collaboration would flourish. Obviously, in an ecosystem, we are dependent on each other. Academic industries certainly would require industries' help in terms of access to data, understanding the real-world problems and so on. And then industry certainly requires the kind of academic environment provides to them in terms of the new ideas, in terms of ability to experiment faster and fail fast and so on.